Technology and Communication of UNIMAS. Okay, that's great. Being in Cyberjaya, Selangor now, I'm able to talk with everyone in Sarawak. It's a great moment for me. Okay, and today is all about Agile lunch talk. It's like we can be more informal of understanding how Agile project management or Agile mindset or culture can be adapted for an organization. Being like a student, as a young graduates, it's a great pleasure for me to share what I have been, practice in terms of the Agile adaptations of organizations, even from government projects, even for my personal things, because I started as practicing Agile for my personal. So Agile, Agile for personal, then only I find like it works for many other my work purpose. Okay, so today I will be sharing more on the fundamental of Agile. So today's agenda is here. We need to understand what environment that we are in currently. So we call this as a VUCA environment. I'll be talking about what is VUCA and then how this Agile wow or Agile way of working can be adapted for this VUCA world, right? And in order for you to understand the Agile way of working, we need to also understand the Agile values and principle, right? So I'll be also covering a little bit on that and some of the Agile methodologies where the industry practice has been using it. Other than that, in order for you to know even a bit little more, in order for you to practice Agile, the roles and responsibilities of Agile need to be understand along with the Agile events. How can you even execute Agile adaptations over your organization or even for your studies as well, right? And we also can have a question and answer so that we can give more ideas for those who are embarking your career into Agile project management, or you want to become a software developer together with Agile project management skill. So our main purpose, like why we are bringing this to the graduates, because we want you to go into a very big market, a niche market, where there are many companies are looking for graduates, regardless of the industry, equipped with Agile skill. So that is the main purpose for me and also Ms. Faza to bring this to all of you today. Okay, and other than this, I also have an Agile handbook with the summary of all the Agile matters. It's about less than 20 pages, where I'll be passing over to Ms. Nur Fauza, and she will be sharing to the students who are here with us today. So that will be the key takeaways or the gift which I'm giving to all of you for the new year. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into the presentation. I think like since Nur Fauza has already given my my introduction, so I just wanted to highlight how I get into this Agile practice. Only that. Okay. So as she said, like I'm an engineering background graduate. In 2006, I completed electronics and communication, and I've been involving in digital sales because when I started my career, I started as a sales coordinator, internal sales coordinator for a fiber optic service provider company based in Selangor. And I equipped with the knowledge that I got it as the technical part of it in terms of the telecommunications and also all the related theories that I've learned, I've just practiced. And then what I find while I'm going through my career for more than 10 years before I started my entrepreneurship, is about the industry is changing very fast. Because being in the telecommunication industry, I find like people talk about 1G, so suddenly 2G, 3G, 4G. Now we are talking about 5G. So the technology is really changing very fast. That's why even I adapt myself
So rather than I'm being in one industry, which has been more than 10 years, I thought like I must switch also myself to acquire better knowledge in a different industry. But I wanted to move to a different industry. It has to be something relevant to the industry that I've worked, because otherwise the adaptive and also changes will be very burden for me. So today we'll be talking about the agile concept, where adapting to the current environment with the resources that you have without overreacting or overburdening yourself is something like what I find as a secret of my evolvement, starting from my entrepreneurship since 2016. I started as a software development company. I found out about agile project management or agile software development methodology while I'm working for a software development industry in a very short time, like in a 1 year time. And I feel like being worked so long as for a company as a digital sales manager and business development manager, I acquired one skill from me, which is teaching skill. I'm very much a people-oriented person. I like to enlighten and teach people or coach people to improvise their sales process. And I find Agile works very well for me. That's how in 2018, together with my Agile basic knowledge and also with my new ventures on training and consultation, we started Agile training and coaching consultancy in 2018 officially, but I started training people since 2017. So over the year now, it's almost 2011, and in this 5 years time, I managed to secure a good enough knowledge on how an organization can adapt agile practices in order for them to foster the business agility perspective and equally technical agility perspective. So I'm carrying the balance between both in order for you to see the differences in agile environment. You need to understand on the fundamental how this agile works, which I'm going to elaborate to all of you, right? And also like what are the steps need to be taken if you want to also adapt agile way of working while you are as a graduate or even after you are looking for your career. This is going to be a good benchmark for you. Okay, but when I talk about the agile way of working, I have one backbone within my career advancement as well, which is known as the digital transformation. Because now the world is moving towards a digitalization. So in order for you to have a smooth transformation in digitalizing your organization, that's where agile mindset comes in. So I become a consultant for organizations who are embarking their digital transformation journey, which is happening very, very like a frequently at current moment, together with the knowledge that I secured as an agilist. So that's about it. Okay, so today we'll be talking about these three matters, important matters of Agile. What is Agile? Why is Agile? And how to be Agile, right? But before even we get to know what is Agile, let's go into the center point of it, why Agile is matter. Okay, but before moving on, I would like to have a small engagement with all of you over here, right? Just to understand your thinking pattern, I've given you a simple question to know what is your choice. I've given you a choice of A and also a choice of B without even telling the description or explanations of the option A and B. So could you choose what is your preference? Which one that you really think like you can go with? So can I have some answer from you guys, all of you here? Okay, I start seeing like it is a very, very mixed answers I'm seeing.
Some of you are telling is A, some of you giving B. Okay. So those who have given your option, can I also know why you choose it? What is A represents? What is your thought process? What could be A? What could be A for all of you? Someone is A and B. Oh, I feel like someone also choose both A and B. A is empowerment while B is attraction. That is really great. I really like this option given by Shimawati. That's great. So one of the different questions that I got it over the sessions that I'm running. Anyone else? A for Thor. Okay. Must be Avenger guy. That's a good answer. Anyone else who wanted to, give a try? What is A and what is B? I see like from this, answers, most of you choose B, right? I think it's collectively a millennials mindset that most of us are in the social media world, right? So attraction, or in another way, so someone has said like A is a self-driven and B is a people-driven. Yeah, it's a good answer. I feel like the graduates are really very, very like a deep thinker. I'm really, excited to move on with this conversation. I might be even get a lot more, answer from you. It's a different concepts, right? For my perspective, I keep A as a power and B as a influencing. Right, almost I see like some of you even say like it's a self-driven. That means like somewhere in a power, they want to show that, hey, I am the boss of the company. You must listen to the instruction. This is one concept in any organization, even starting with our education system up to while we are working, even we are moving towards our own business or entrepreneurship journey, you'll be seeing this type of people who always like to give instruction to others. That means like these are the people who are holding the power, right? And the second version of a people, right, wanted to influence people to do certain things. So here today, we'll be talking about the option B, which is also very much related to Agile way of working, where we are exactly, so Noor Alia is just given her thought also, it's about attracting or influencing people. So that is what like we are going to talk, rather than we are giving instruction to people. How can we work along in a team by attracting each other, by have a very deep collaborations, and also making a team work successful for a common goal. Okay, thank you so much for all the answers has been given. All of you are right. And since most of you are choosing B, and I believe that all of you also agree that Agile going to be one of the common practice or a culture in a modern organization, right? Being all the millennials, it's very easy for us to bring the Agile mindset. So here am I giving you how can you bring Agile, or why Agile is matter. So the world has become increasingly complex, right? And also we can't predict. The reason why we have to be more flexible, more adaptive, because of one reason: things are unpredictable now, getting more complex because of a lot of technology advancement. So for that particular reason, we are actually bringing the one particular concept, which is known as agility mindset or agility culture, where rather than we are giving instruction to people, we are influencing people to work together to get the job done anonymously or to have a common goal. That is what I feel like it is needed, right? So why we must have this agility model? Because of the current environment is VUCA, and we call this as a VUCA world, right? What is known as VUCA? So let us also see like uh, the abbreviations of VUCA. So VUCA stands for volatility. That means like the rate of change is very high, right? Things are moving faster and all that. And U stands for uncertainty. Sometimes we don't know what's going to happen next. And we have been seeing this very obviously since the COVID-19 has been started, which really changed the entire world. It's not only Malaysia, but the entire world, right? And C is about the complexity. Things are getting more complex because so suddenly you can't go to a market and buy your stuff, for example, right? So you have to do online shopping. So maybe for the millennials, online shopping is something very easy because you are going to use your parents' card or even like it's much easy for you, right? But those who don't have the online literacy and also digital literacy, they find it is very complex. So majority people are facing some sort of mental stress because of the complex things happens in our environment. And ambiguity is also lack of clarity. We don't know like when these things can fix. When are we going to go back normal, right? All this are some of the ambiguity, lack of clarity. What going to happen next? Okay, let me finish my graduations. You have started, you never know that you'll be having this kind of a disruptions of online learning, and also all your examinations may be also disrupted. The graduation must be disrupted because there are universities also adapted online graduations, I hope, right? But the clarity is also a matter why we have to move into agility. So before I move on, I would like to run this video with all of you. Just let me know because when I share, I'm not very sure that I click the enable music. I mean the sound. Maybe I test now. Can you hear the sound? Okay.
Times are changing. The world is moving faster than we ever thought, and our development practices are having a hard time keeping pace. Previously, we could dedicate a great deal of time to development, but now customers are expecting new products in their hands faster and more frequently than ever before. Every industry, from retail to software development, is being disrupted by digital and technological advances. Drones are delivering packages. 5G is processing at unthinkable speeds. 3D printing is allowing people to enter and disrupt new industries. Artificial intelligence is automating processes that we never imagined would be entrusted outside of human hands. Many years ago, we thought we'd be developing almost effortlessly by this time. The problem is, we often feel like we're still in a very old and slow place. We're still trying to do the work with our old methods, but it's just not progressing fast enough to satisfy our customers. We need a way to compete in this new world. We need a way to stay at the top of our industries instead of letting other companies come in, disrupt our businesses, and take our spots at the top. When people reflect on the current state of their organizations, many say the same things over and over again. They can't release when customers need it, and they're discovering their problems too late. As a result, their morale is poor and they're left with unhappy customers. We need an adaptive, customer-centric way of working. We need Agile.
So what the important factor that you understand? What would be your, key takeaway from this video? Anyone? Can you use the chat to, if you come out with any of the particular word that you find from the video? Anyone? Quicker development, yes. Faster to the market. Yeah, it's about the technology on artificial intelligence and all that. I'm expecting one powerful word that ended up with the video. It starts with C. Anyone heard about this word called not complexity? That's a good, try, but another C. It's about the customer centricity. So Agile is not only about making you feel good or adaptive for the complex environment, but also it show you the way how to create a customer satisfaction. So now when we are talking about attracting people or influencing people, we can't be in the power of the industry by ruling the industry. Rather, we want to make the industry or the customer to really like our brand or they like our service or product. So that is what we called as a customer centricity approach. That you adapt yourself, there must be a reason for you to adapt for the current problem or the current environment is to serve the consumer or our client better. If we serve our client better, we increase the customer satisfaction, then the success is yours. That is what the sweet answer why we need Agile at the current VUCA world, right? So we'll be even see more interesting terms, something like you might be think like is a new for you, but definitely you can stop me and get clarification if you need a clarification, or we can also use that for our Q&A section later. Okay, so before even I'm moving on the what perspective of Agile, let me also go through a small recap on the history of Agile. Why people are, talking about Agile. This is happens officially, the Agile Manifesto has been introduced in 2001. So exactly Agile turns 20 years when the February, I think it's a February 17 something. Yes, it's a February 17, 2001, year 2001. They are 17 software development practitioners. They gathered and the main goal for them to actually get that in order for them to make an anonymous practice for their software development, which during the time, 90s and all that, the software development era is already become very like active, right? We started our internet era in late 1980s and also like in 1990s, we start seeing like a lot of a complex software development comes in. And that's where like this 17 people, they decided to come out with a common practice, which is known as a Agile Manifesto or Agile Value System, right? So even they are, having a relaxing moment, and also you can also see the place where they are having it similar like when we are having a Jamwan, right? Our government servants and all that, they'll be having a Jamwan. You'll be seeing like they wanted to enjoy themselves. The reason why, when you are in a happy mode, you can give even more ideas. That's where it happens. And you see like a two people at the bottom. If you take up Ken Schauber and also Jeff Sutherland, those two people are also further to this Agile Manifestos. They also contributed to Scrum framework. So I'll be also touch a little bit on the Scrum framework, which is within the Agile methodologies, one of the commonly used framework in the world currently. Okay, And another new terms over here, like Kinavin framework is actually giving you a guide for the problem solving tools. And in order for you to look into the agile adaptations, we must find the core problem. So the problem solving, there are many tools and also methodologies have been followed currently by the decision makers in an organization, but those are following agile practices. They will use the Skinner-Win framework. So they are looking into how Agile can become a key organizational capability to adapt the current situation. So you can also look into the VUCA. The quadrant of VUCA is about the complexity, about the chaotic things like unknowable things and the confused mode or complicated modes and all that. So Agile works very well when we have a little bit on complexity part, right? And you also will know why a complex things need agile adaptations, which I also will cover very short, right? So just for you to have the understanding about why agile is because it's a powerful, tool for us to create a solution for any current problems that we are facing. So just to give an introductions about the descriptions, or we must have a definition always, right? We have, being a student, when you have been asked to write something, right? Immediately you'll be go and look for a definition of certain terminology. Mr. Google will always helps you, right? So here I'm also wanted to give some definition to you. What is Agile all about, right? When I say earlier, Agile is all about flexibility. So you need to adapt yourself for the current changing environment. Other than that, what are the concepts that Agile also brings in so that the adaptability process even works much well? Okay, so for that, we are using a few new terms also. And one of it is known as time boxing in Agile is very much matter. Okay, how do you understand about time boxing? Time boxing is a terminology where Agile practices focus on delivering any work within the fixed time frame. That means like Agile makes you to stay focused on doing one work at a time, or we also call this as a single tasking, in order for you to achieve the highest quality over your work. And the deliverable of the work also has two approaches. We call this as an iterative approach, or the process involves a repetition cycles, or we also call this as a sprinting cycle in agile working environment, and deliver a product or a project or a solution in an incremental way, right? If let's say like you are running on a marathon, for example, so how do you feel? Running our marathon 10 kilometers as a single person, is it easier? Or you can even work on passing a baton, like each kilometer is run by one person, and then you can even reach the destination faster. So this is something like what Agile says. Rather than you are doing a work in a silo, which is as an individual task, which may even create a burnout for you. You may even cause lethargy and tired when the program, the project going to be finished, when you are working alone, a silo, or can't you work in a team and you delegate the job so that no waiting time, you can keep a fixed time to work on it, and you continuously deliver the work and show the stakeholder or the consumers like what is the progress of the project that you are working with. In this way, you can even make them to feel good, because Agile says the customer satisfaction or the consumer centricity approach is viable for agile mindset. So in that, we create a focusing mindset and also delivering things not at a time, but creating a deliverable in an incremental way instead of doing the at once. So what could be the benefit? If you deliver things in an incremental way, one thing, you will spot on the error at an earlier stage. And another thing, you can get a feedback from the person who is allocating the job to you, so that you will have a better clarity about what are you doing and what are you doing. Is it aligned with your customers' requirement or not, right? So that is where Agile helps you. So in a short, Agile is equal to increments and also iterations. And this two approach has been done in a focused time or fixed time in order for you to create more focus to deliver high value product or services, right? And also, let me run through a simple animation for you to understand how this incremental approach work and also how the iterative approach work. I think that will even give you a better idea, because when I say iterative, Ms. Buvna, what is it iterative? What is it incremental, right? So let me talk about what is iterative approach. So since all of you are also well to know about the software development life cycle, right? When you are instructed to create web development, let's say we can take up a small example. We want to make our e-commerce website. Okay, so the first thing when I say you have to build an e-commerce website, I'm being a customer and you might be the developer that I'm hiring. So I said like, I wanted to develop, I want to make an e-commerce website, and I'm not very sure that what are the components needed for me to build an e-commerce website. But I'm seeing like many other websites where people are selling their product in online. So people also can do pay their, I mean, whatever that they buy and then they pay in online, right? So I, as a customer, just imagine I'm a very layman. I don't know anything about the web development. So this is how most of the consumers will be. They only know that they are looking for some solution, but they don't have enough information. So here we call this as a, we are starting a project with unknown requirement, right? When we have an unknown requirement, so in agile approach, right, we have to do the product development in a iterative or in a cycle, in a repetition cycle mode, rather than using a waterfall approach, right? If you know about the software development life cycle, we have one approach is known as a waterfall approach, where it is a very much sequential or phase, right? It starts with the architect or the business analyst. They gather the information and then they get the customer to sign the agreement with all the user requirement. And then the architect start giving the framework, and then the development team or the programmer will come out with the front end and also the back end development. And this will be test by the tester who also working silos, and then will be passed over to the customer, right? It may take a longer time. But in agile approach, what we say, like, rather than we are building a website or any of the product, when we have a unknown requirement, because we say like now people has a lot of unknown and also complexity. So in that way, let us make the development not to done at once, but just build what you know at that particular moment, right? That is what is known as an iterative approach, right? And this iterative approach can be continuously made with some continuous improvement. So when you build something and then you show people, with that, your customer can give you a better feedback rather than you are not doing anything and then you keep asking what you want, the customer actually also say, hey, if I know what I want, I would have not come to you, right? You know the stuff better. Can you do a market research and come out with a sample so that I can give you some feedback and we can improvise on that. So in Agile perspective, right, rather than we are doing it without even having the client concern, Agile says, let's collaborate with the client and then try to build your product or a solution in stages by getting a continuous feedback so that the deliverable that you are giving to them can be faster, right? It can be a quicker or a rapid development we call in Agile perspective, but equally it has an error free. So whatever you are giving in a working condition so that the customer happy and they find the money that they spend for you for the project is the maximum value. Right, so we have to find what is the highest value that we give to our customer with our scale. So that is about iterative approach. So when we talk about incremental approach, it's in the similar concept, right? When we having an unknown requirement at the initial stage, let's build and deliver incremental product rather than try to do a repetition, right? Repetitions or iterative approach is good, but it must have another combination or a complementary approach, which is known as an incremental approach. So this incremental approach will help you to show people in actual the stages of the work. So your deliverable can be, in a spec, right? Even before you come out with the final deliverable or final products delivered to the market. So we have seen like a two approach. One is creating the loop, right? Secondly, even we are creating loop, still we are missing in one portion. We must actually give that deliverable earlier to the market or to the client so that when we do the second iteration, we improvise whatever things that goes wrong. That is more important, okay? So when we have the Agile approach, which is a combination of both, so even you have an unknown requirement, right? You can still run your project efficiently if you use both iterative and also incremental approach. So you do a repetitions, equally you also get a feedback and you improvise your product. In this way, you can bring your product quicker to the market and you also create a customer satisfaction. And equally, when the project has been successful, the company also can improvise their revenue stream, right? So it makes everyone happy. The organization who take up the project is also happy because the project has been completed successfully. And the people, the team members who are working for this project also empowered and motivated because this approach helps them to connect with the stakeholder and the organization so that they can successfully finish the job, right? So it creates like a more happiness and more positive environment when we are using this Agile approach. So the key factor in Agile approach is that now we can't avoid the change request or changing environment because this has been, become a new norm or common things. But what we can do is that we can change our approach by adapting to the changing environment. That is what we know as an agile way of working. I hope like this particular explanation helps you to give an understanding about Agile. So in short, Agile is a combination of two different approaches, which is an iterative approach and also the incremental approach, which helps to deliver a product or services faster to the market. So this improves the development process. Equally, it also improves the cost factor, the risk factor, and it's add more value to the product by delivering a quality product. This will create a customer satisfaction. This is also create the organization stay in a high revenue stream, right? The people who are working within the organization also happy because they see the success story of their project, and the customer also happy because they got their product or solution on time and also without less error. And how this is happened? By creating a few stages of time box event roles and responsibilities. We will also catch up on that. But let me also try to give some the ideology about the Agile, right? We have a two concept over here. Agile has been, officiated in 2001, and you can see like the 4 Agile manifesto, where it gives you the stages on how the individual and interaction has to be given more importance over the process and the tools, right? Even you can be work for a very big development company. The company have all the testing automation tools, development automations tool, and they have a tracking tools, everything they have purchased and everything. But if they never create the interaction between the team member, which I told you, Agile need collaboration with the team member rather than working in a silo. So the first thing, individual and interaction over the process and tool. Second thing, Agile is very much giving importance for working condition software or product or solution over comprehensive documentation. So don't underestimate or have a misconceptions that Agile doesn't need a documentation. Agile need a documentation. Agile documentation has been simplified over the process, but still Agile maintain some level of a documentation. Equally, Agile giving more, um, the thought over the quality of the solution. And the third matters on Agile mindset is about the customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Sometimes would have been seen if you are getting into the real work environment later, right? There is one particular role or the team which is known as a PMO. So the project management office, what they do is that they will negotiate with the higher management on securing certain projects. So let's take a development projects that they have been secured. They have to do the right budgeting. They also has to give a buy-in so that the organization can give the enough budget to build a project for either for the internal client or external client, right? But if let's say they are only focusing on the contracts, if anything goes wrong with the project, so still the organization has to negotiate. I understand like our team has made a mistake. Maybe we can talk about the negotiation. About 10 to 20% of the fine that we can pay because of the defects or inefficiency of the project. This is something like will happen if anything goes wrong with the project, or we create a project where the stakeholder or the real customer are not happy. But in Agile, what it says that rather than we are focusing on the contract negotiations, where if anything goes wrong, we have to do the negotiation, which is also drag the implementation of the project. Why not we get the customer to collaborate with the team even at the initial stage, so that the customer know about the progress of the project since the day one of the project has been implemented. So this customer collaborations is help the iterative and also incremental way of agile development helpful to produce a working product or solution. Okay. And number 4, within the agile mindset, it says, right, why we need the iteration, why we need an incremental approach, because we need a reason for us to adapt or change at each stage. So we must have a station, right? Let's say like we are running a marathon. We must have a stage where after 1 kilometer, who am I going to give the baton? And what time I have to give, and then how soon that particular runner has to pass over the baton over the next runner and all that, right? So in order for you to respond to this particular changes, Agile says we must be very alert and adaptive to the changes rather than following a plan. We may put up our roadmap very nicely for any projects, but sometimes there might be some hiccup because of the complexity, some of the unclarity, ambiguity of the projects. So the team gets stuck. They don't know what to do. That's why when we have a few stage of the deliverable is being pointed, we can get the feedback, or we can even do a brainstorm and find like what is the right approach for us to do in order for us to get to go with our goal of the project. So rather than producing a project, Agile says have a common goal on your project and adapt. That means like you can change the plan, not the goal. So that is happens in Agile values. So these are the 4 stages of Agile values, where you give importance to the interaction with the people that you are working in a team, and you are focusing on the quality of the work, and you also bring the customer to collaborate with you so that you can get the constructive feedback and continuous improvement just happens with this collaboration. And rather than being a fixed mindset, try to have a growth mindset by responding to the change rather than following a plan. So don't change your plan, just change the way you execute the plan. Okay, and that is one about agile mindset. I also bring in another new terms for you, which is known as a lean. Okay, when I say lean, what do you understand? How do you define lean literally in English? Can I know that? Anyone can see, what do you understand about lean? Resting. Oh, resting against an object is a different one. This is about lean. Lean. Other than I mean resting on something. Okay. So when I say, hey, she looks very lean, what does that mean? Looking thin but healthy. Okay, looking thin is okay one way, and we also called as something simple, right? Someone is saying lean is something simple, not a complex thing. So in order for you to attain the agility model, you need simplicity in your process. That's where the lean help you to complement the agile mindset. So if you're working in a current VUCA world or the real industry later, it's not that your agile mindset is matter, but also the lean mindset is equally matter. And for your information, agile has been derived, or Agile took the inspiration from Toyota production system, which they use lean manufacturing methodology. And this has been started way before 1939, which is nearly 1940s. So this has been immediately after the Second World War. And how this happens, Toyota production system, you can also go and Google TPS, is one of the common or a very well-known lean manufacturing methodology, where they find when you are having a limited resources. When I say 1940s, that is the time that the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the nuclear bomb blast happened in Japan. So most of the land in Japan has been destroyed because of this very powerful nuclear bomb blast. Toyota production system, Toyota production, which is one of the, until now you can see like Toyota production is one of the very successful automobile company based in Japan, right? There is one particular engineer who's known as Ohono Taichi, and he come on with inspiration from a supermarket. He go and check the supermarket, and then he find out one thing. The supermarket has a stack of racks, and all the products has been even like we have been getting our inspiration for the supermarket currently from Tesco. Now it has been bought over by Eon, right? Eon, yes, Eon, and also Justco. Actually, it's a Justco, and now it has been bought over by Eon, right? So when you're looking into the concept of a Japanese supermarket, you'll be seeing like they will put up all the products in a stack, so that they want to create a transparency on all the stocks available, so that the people, when they go in with their basket, they know like each and every I mean, a compartment has a different product, and they know like what are the products that are available. And also when people are pick up, right? Maybe like you have a 10 customers going in, everyone pick up the mask box. Because now mask is one of the commonly used product when we go and buy in a supermarket. So the inventory has been made in a such that when people are taking, you will be knowing that there is a shortage of inventory over there. So the people who are taking in charge on the inventory immediately fill the stock. So this transparency is helps their entire operation flow more efficiently, no waiting time. So that particular concept has been taken in the lean manufacturing for Toyota production system. So this engineer come up with one particular terminology, which is known as a lean manufacturing concept, or they also put this as a Toyota production system. And they bring some of the concept like having a task bot. And this task bot help you to create a managing flow of the process, and also creating a simplicity over the process by allocating the job to each and every one. So no waiting period. Sometimes you'll be seeing there are in some offices, you'll be having people to take up one work and given to another person, and that particular person will take at least 1 or 2 days to complete the job, and then only he will pass over to another person. And this always happens for the approval stage, right? That's why you can see like in most of the time, even in our government works, insurance and all that, the time taken for one process is completed. Let's say like insurance claim process, it takes a very long time, because the work has been given, has been done by a multiple people, but there is a wastage of the waiting time. So Tai Chi want to reduce the waiting time, and he want to make the work as been goes on progressively, efficiently, and all the people are working. So they want to eliminate the time underutilized talents, the time where people also moving without a reason, right? Underutilized resources. because they really want to reduce their cost of manufacturing so that they can increase their profit. So that's where the lean concept has been taken. Equally, how this has happened is not only about the mindset about following the progress and also like working in a collaboration. They also try to bring the house of lean where they put up the value at the top. If you want to create a value, again, we bring the influencing or attracting people concept. You must respect the people within the organization. We must respect the culture, right? So when we are respecting people, we can empower the people within, and we can also create a happy environment. When we are happy, you can give more ideas together. So innovation can be happen in a much better way. And also people can they can buy in your concept or idea when they are in a good mood. This has always happened, right? And they can also be very much coordinating with you. So you won't be seeing the receptive, like how when the boss giving you an instruction, when the boss left on the other side, we'll be seeing, boss ni memang tak ada kerja lah, selalu bagi yang benda-benda yang susah macam kita tak tahu, lepas tu pula dia bagi kita buat kerja tu, tak bagi masa banyak, right? So this will make people to hate the work that they are doing. So you won't see a quality and efficiency in the work. So lean gives the simplest way for you to execute a job by trusting people, by minimizing the operational flow, and also by increasing the continuous improvement and innovations, and give a leadership quality within the organization, right? This will create a sustainability over the time. That's why you can see like many agile companies at the current moment, they can become a world leader in a very short period of time. For example, Netflix, Spotify, all this like a Facebook, you can see like all this modern organization, they have been backed up with agile culture. So they are using this two concept of lean and also agile mindset within their working environment. So it's not that they become the world leader faster, they also sustain by creating a new products. And you can see like every time, even a Google is also an example of an agile company, Amazon is an agile company, Apple is an agile company. So they all having the agile culture within their working approach. And how this has happened? Because they believe in continuous improvement, innovation in their product and solutions, and they create a continuous deliverable. That's why even like a WhatsApp or Facebook, they always will have a new features launch in a frequent manner, right? Any companies, if you are think like, I wanted to know like why they are so successful, because of the reason they never just use one product forever. They always improvise the product or solutions they have by getting the feedback from the users, and also start giving improvisations or evolve their product or solutions continuously. Okay, so we have been seeing like a many agile organizations in our day-to-day life. As I say, like I think all of us are using Facebook, Google, right, Spotify, Netflix, right? So, and also there is something like I also wanted to highlight, that is one fast food company is also using the concept of agile, which I will also try to talk about it when the time comes while we do the presentation. So it's 1 hour past with our, a presentation. I still have a little more to cover. Are you clear about the lean agile concept or mindset so far? Can I say yes, maybe, or no from you? I feel like Nurul Alia giving a thumbs up. Only one yes, I see. Like yes, Daniel is giving yes. Amiruddin. I hope like all of you, some of you, you feel like it's a new concept. I totally understand. But it's just that I'm trying to simplify because when I'm giving this as a training, it will be a long time. So I'll take a longer time for me to give some exercise activities for you to really understand the concept. But since this is a short talk, I try to compress everything and have to give a high level. And equally, my point of view or purpose over here for you guys to just take the concept of Agile before even you go in depth about understanding the Agile in terms of a training or you're going through a certifications or whatever, right? So let us continue. When I do a simplifications of Agile values, I also wanted to bring this a 12 Agile principles over here. Right? Whatever that we spoke just now has been simplified in this one template, right? Starting with satisfying the customer, like how you can satisfy a customer by continuously delivering the product or services, okay, to the customer so that the customer know the progress of the project, right? And also when you wanted to build a product, you must create highly motivated team members who can stay along to work for one particular project anonymously, and then we have to create a trust within them. So empowerment is important, trust is important, right? And also we work on the welcoming change, simplicity. That is also one important terms in the Agile principle, which I always believe that if it is needed for Agile team, is known as a self-organizing team. That means like the team member take accountability on the job that they are taking up. So if you are delegating certain tasks to an Agile team member, they will take accountability on how to complete the job. So they won't come to you and be asking, how can I complete this job? No. In Agile environment, it's only for the team member to understand why are they going to execute the job and what are the jobs that they have been going to execute, and they take up all the list of items or requirement from the projects in each sprint, right? When we call about iterative cycle, so the team will actually take a portion of a requirement and they execute over a short cycle. In Agile we call this as a sprint, right? When they are running this each sprint, the team basically will take accountability on the task that they agreed to do during that short period of time. So they stay focused and then they try to execute that particular task with their own skill, and they collaborate each other and they will try to complete the job by the end of the cycle. So you'll be having a short cycle which is fixed, but you have to do a continuous inspection every day in order for you to complete the task, right? And also like a few other terms that you also need to understand over the Agile principle is about the collaboration mindset, work together with the business people and the developer where you can get alignment and all that. And most important principle in Agile is about face-to-face conversation. So the team member need to have a daily conversation, which is also in a fixed time. So you'll be seeing like in Agile environment, they call this as a daily stand-up meeting, where they take a fixed time of 15 minutes on the same time and also at the same place every day. They will discuss about what are they going to do today, what they've completed yesterday, and this will be like every 24/7 inspection. When you have this kind of a conversation, I think like most of the thing will be simplified for you to work on, right? So some of the practice in Agile is really works very well for any organization, a modern organization. And this is also helps to improvise the quality. So, and Agile says like you should fail early. So don't afraid of fail early, but even you fail, you must learn the lesson. You try to take up whatever lesson that you take and try to correct it next time so that you won't repeat the same mistake, right? And there is something, a say known as, if you are expecting a different result, right, you must also do things differently. So if you are expecting a different result, but you are still doing same thing, so it is insane for you to expect something a different result. So the input is actually very much proportional to the output that you are expecting. So that's where the efficiency and right planning is important factor in Agile. So the Agile planning is very, very structured and it really will help the team member to progress much better day by day. Okay. And how this the Agile mindset and culture can make you to thrive, right? Thriving is the real buzzword currently. Many organizations, they really face a lot of challenge during this COVID time. They have to downsize their team members. That's why you can see many unemployed rate. People has been retrenched, and the fresh graduates are also afraid after our graduation whether are we going to get the job that relevant to what I've studied or what. So all this is the reality at current moment. But just take a moment. Who are the people retrenched? These are the people who are been in the organization in an ad hoc basis, where they are not showing their exact skill. If you are the asset for the organization, when the company is decided to downsizing, they will try to keep all the asset first. And they'll be seeing like who are the people that need for like an in an ad hoc basis. We may need them maybe about a week or 2 weeks in a month. They are paying a salary for another 3 weeks or 2 weeks just for that, right? So the underutilizing talents will be retrenched. And this is one of the reason why most of the organization downsized and the unemployment rate has been increased so much, right? So here is the shift. If you are looking into positioning yourself in a very well stable and sustained company, try to find if the company is using agile culture or not. So it's just a tip for a graduate. If you are looking to position yourself in an agile company, because the agile company, they are very much focused on sustainability, right? In that sense, you must also need to equip yourself with the skill, and then only you can adapt with them. Air Asia is also an agile company. That's why you can see even the aviation industry has been hit so bad, but the companies still progress themselves. You can see like they adapted immediately. They come out with a few strategies on selling the food law, and then they come out with the e-hailing law, and then they come out with, now they are going with a very big plan which is known as the digital banking. So Air Asia will also disrupt the fintech very soon, because digital banking is also become one of the very powerful thing happening. From the aviation industry, Air Asia can become, diversified themselves in a digital banking, because this company is a very much adaptive. If you got a chance to go to Air Asia office, right, they have a very big roller coaster in their office environment, and you can see like there is no cubicle setup in Air Asia. It is an open concept. People still can be very relaxed on sitting over. They don't have a specific place for them to sit. That means like Agile don't have a specific role for your work. You no need to work in a silo. It's very much like a collaborative. no title for you. So everyone has been, treated same in Agile environment. All this some of the concept of Agile culture, where they wanted to create the people are highly motivated so that they can continuously produce an innovative and creative product or solution so that the company can stay in the industry in a longer time. Even anything happened, regardless of disruption, regardless of a COVID or any kind of a natural disaster, the company will find their way on alternate adaptations, right? And this is one of a successful agile transformation, right, in an organization. So they said like they are focusing on three matters, right? It's an intersection of the people, how the people can evolve with agile mindset, learning a new skill, adapt to more effective collaboration strategies, right? This is very important. That's why when you are moving towards on the hiring process, they first will see what are the soft skills that you have other than what you've studied for. You would have actually completed with a software engineering or computer engineering or whatever. But other than that, what do you know in terms of a soft skill? You must be a good communicator. So the communication skill is very important if you're applying for an agile company or any modern organization. If you eye to be place yourself in a 500 Fortune companies, most of them are using agile culture, right? And secondly, you must also be very people oriented, a person who are very much socially connected, who can be more transparent on or giving an open conversation, right? These are some of the skill that a hirer will look into, because in agile transformation 80 to 85% they believe on the people development. That's why in some of the organization you can see like they also have the excellence center, right, where they try to improvise the people skill, the soft skill of the staff or the people are working within the organization. Secondly, about understanding the different tools. If you are in a computer engineering or a software engineering, try to understand what are the different automation tools. They are tools like a Jenkins, GitHub, right? All that has been used for your agile adaptations or your agile projects. Try to learn any of these tools. There are many, videos, the YouTube videos on the introductions or the overview of different tools. So let's also have that, knowledge about it. And also the process. I'll be talking about the different agile methodologies after this. So do see like which process will be useful for you. Okay. So that's the summary. If you are focusing on moving towards your career on a successful agile transformation, you must equip all the three, but the most important is the soft skill that you have other than your qualification that you have. Okay. So another terminology for you to understand in the agile environment, now we are moving from the functional role to a partnership role or relationship role, right? For example, let's say like you wanted to become a software developer, right? So you can't see that you become a software developer as your like a junior developer and then mid-level developer. After that you become a team lead, and then after that you can also become the CTO of the company, or you become a CFO, CIO of the company. This is the transit that happening in a traditional environment. So we call this as a functional role. But in agile role, right, we are focusing mainly about how adaptive ourselves on understanding the entire ecosystem of your organization, starting from your sales until the end of customer retention together with the process. So the shift in mindset is needed if you're looking into bringing yourself into an agile environment. And how this has happened, right? It's not only about your specialty, but it's also about how you generally understand the ecosystem where the project needs, right? So I've given you another example. It's not only about, the individual like you and me working for a company, but the entire shift in role has been empowered by the structure within the management role itself. So mostly you'll be seeing like in any organization, it starts with the top-down hierarchy, or we call this as a bureaucracy, right? Where the supervisor will give a detailed instruction to people. We all has been trained in that way. Even our education system also has been trained in that way. Like we listen what teacher is actually explaining to us, and we have been given trained with the homework of doing it, so all these are very much structured where we give a detailed instruction because the leaders or the supervisors are concerned the juniors, they don't know how to do it. So rather than we are getting things complicated, let us give them the instruction, let them follow the SOP so that we can save the time. In this way, we can't create a creativity and innovation comes out from the team members. So when you start following something, you won't be thinking anything further to the instruction. So this is what we know as a fixed mindset. So rather than we are creating such a generation, what Agile says is that let us give a open task to them. Let us give what to do. Let them decide how to do it, and let them decide the benchmark of the quality that they want to give. And we as a leader, we only foresee the process and help it is if it is needed to improvise or to remove the challenges that the team members are facing. So that's where you won't be seeing a boss environment in a modern organization. They will call them as a squad leader, or we are very much focused on a leadership, agile leadership quality. So agile leadership, it shows the direction and enable the action, but the action is to be done by the people so that they take their accountability, right? That's why you can see like there is no boundary and it's very much flexible. That's why you can see like in many modern organizations, won't ask you to come at punch at 9 o'clock, finish at 5 o'clock. They will be giving you the task and they will only monitor whether the task has been completed on time. That's it. How do you do it, and in what time you started, what time you end, how long you're taking your lunch break, how long you're taking a tea break is not being encountered. So that's why many flexible working hours has been introduced a current agile environment. And also you can see like people are focusing on the number of backlogs is completed, not the number of time that they are working. The working hours is not really matter in some of the organization, right? And what this can make, I also wanted to bring in another concept over here. We are looking on the shifting of people from one way to another way. In agile environment, we want to create more T-shaped people. So you can also Google about T-shaped people on understanding, like in a current environment, in agile environment mostly, I no need someone who have a 15 years experience in software development, 15 years or 20 years experience in accounting, right? Because now it's everything technology based. And we have one powerful term is known as automation. We are in the industry 4.0 era. So when I say industry 4.0 era, that means like most of the routine job has been eliminated and has been replaced by machines and robots. And we also call this as a smart device. Someone has also highlighted artificial intelligence, where we ourselves sometimes may have a human error, right? So the technology helps to improvise the human error to even create a faster result, and it eliminates, like if let's say as a people, we may take about 7 people to key in certain data. Now the big data era, it simplifies the data, everything super fast. You don't need all the 10 people who are actually working on the improvising the data. So we no need a people any longer. We need someone with maybe a specialty over one area, but they must also diversify their knowledge and skill for the current environment. For example, I give you this example. The difference between I-shaped people and also the T-shaped people, right? Is work based on like I-shaped people is very much like they are functional. That means like if I'm looking into a content writer, I'm very good in writing. So I actually joined a company as a content writer for a social media agency maybe, right? But the company don't afford to keep one content writer specifically because of the cost matter. But if let's say I also carry myself for the hirer, I say like I have a 3 years experience in content writing for a social media company. And equally, I also have certification. So I also have about 1 to 2 years experience on search engine optimization, which is known as the SEO. And I also have been worked for a project where I learned a little bit on the user interface and user experience, UI UX. So with all these 3 skill, with the in-depth content writing skill, I can work for a team where I can work with a designer, and also I can work with the data analytics and also the web developer, the SEO expert and all that. So in any organization, if you and most of the agile companies, they're working in a team, they want the team to have another new term, do take note, cross-functional team members. In agile environment, we are focusing on creating more cross-functional. Cross-functional in the sense, is the similar concept. Being a content writer, you also must have 2 other expertise, which is known as a SEO and UI UX. So you consider as a cross-functional team member, and you are always welcome to work with the development project. Because when they have a discussion and all that, you can understand some of the terminologies that they give, and you can also equally give your idea as a content writer. So that is what like an agile working environment is looked for. As a T-shaped people, or also we call them as a cross-functional team member. I think some of the terms are new. You can take down the terms and also try to digest and also do a little more, a research by yourself on learning over or viewing some short videos, right? So you can also check it out over here.